today I have something very nice to share with you, something I got in the past months and I'm really enjoying using it, which is the Color Meditation Deck by Lisasolomon. It's a great way to get yourself warmed up for a painting, to just get back into painting if you stayed a while without doing so, or just getting to know your colors and your brushes. It's an overall great thing, and I'm really happy to share this with you today. Before I start, of course, I'm gonna thank you everyone again for following me along this journey, watching my videos, all your lovely comments. I really appreciate. So I would like to ask if you like watercolor content and related watercolor content like I have here on the channel. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Check my other videos. I have playlists with lots of videos of swatching and books and all lovely things for helping you to decide, to inspire you, and I really appreciate your support. And let's start today. So I'm gonna show you, this is deck of cards that comes in this lovely box. There's also a book called Color Meditation by Lisasolomon. I don't have the book, but it has a lot of exercises that, how can I say, they inspire you to try different color combinations and forms and shapes and things of that sort. And this is a continuation to what she talked about in the book. So this deck of cards come with this little book that explains a little bit about the different color combinations and how to use the deck. So I'm gonna show you here quickly. So she starts talking a bit about herself and then her use of color for meditation, which I find it's really great because I'm someone that has some difficulty also with meditating, but I feel that when you're painting and you're just focusing on the way the paint behaves on the paper and the colors behave differently and mixing and all of that, you really can get into that zone when you're not thinking about anything else. So I think it's a great way to use this deck. So here she talks about the color schemes. You see here she's talking about complementary, monochromatic, the other type of color schemes. And then she will talk about the different effects you can have with watercolor. So you have blooming, flat wash, saturation, hue, shade, tint, and she has some examples over here. Value, warm colors. Then she talks a little bit about the materials, the colors, the paper, brushes. And then she goes back to how to use the deck, which is a very good way to start because it can be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of cards and I don't know where to start. So she gives you some scenarios of how to use it. So the first scenario, you take, I'm gonna show you the cards as well so you can have a better idea. The box comes with this ribbon as well to make it easy for you to remove the cards, which is always very helpful. And here is the deck. So you notice that the cards have different colors. So these purple ones are what's called parameter cards. And the other ones, the other colors, she calls them a color meditation card. So the first scenario, you just grab one color meditation card and that's it. So let's see this, for example, Stadium. This is a color meditation card. So here she has a bit of an explanation about what is the stadium. So here, for example, she said you can make it's just rounded rectangles basically, and then you can have some variation, can make smaller ones. A big wide one would be fun too. They could lean more or alternate direction. Each one has a personality. The color, the amount of lean, and the height all help to describe it. This could be a really fun one to try around other shapes. And that's it. So here she has an example of what she means by stadium. So it's basically rectangles with rounded ends. That's it, but you can do it in different ways. So one way to use the deck is you take one card and that's it, and you do it the way you see best. The other way is to take two color meditation cards. So let's say I get stadium and I get this one, drips. So drips, as the name say, is just letting the paint drip around. And then she has also the explanation here. So you could create an abstract piece of art using rectangles and also using drips in between the rectangles, or creating a drip and then from there continuing with rectangles. There's an infinite amount of possibilities depending on the cards that you take. But I think that the good thing about this deck is that it kind of takes away some of the decisions for you. So you already know you have those parameters to follow. So it kind of reduces that fear of the blank page, in my opinion. Because when you start with some sort of parameter, you have to use warm colors, or you have to create this type of shapes, or, you know, it kind of remove a bit out of that anxiety of what should I do, how should I start. So it's a great way to get warmed up. Like I said, sometimes you want to paint or you have some ideas, and then if you stay a few days or longer without painting and you jump right into trying to do a finished illustration piece, you start and it sucks. We've all been there, because it's something that takes, you know, some warming up and some, you know, getting back into that momentum. So this is a good exercise to go through that block and that, you know. So it's also a great warmed up, like even as an exercise for your hands, to get used again to your brushes, to exercise different movements with your brush and different effects that you can create. And yeah, let me continue here. I'm getting a bit carried away. So the scenario 2 was 2 color meditation cards. The scenario 3, you have 1 color meditation card and 1 parameter card. So like I said, the parameter card is the purple one. So let's say I take this parameter card, it's called palette order, and then I take this one called half circles. So according to this, I know that I have to create something using half circles in the palette order, meaning the order of the colors in my palette. So this already takes a lot out of the way, because you have your palette, you just go in the order of the palette, and that's it. All that you have to do is to think about what type of half circles you want to do. Big ones, small ones, a mix of both, one direction only, different directions. Are they going to be separated, a lot of white negative space, or are going to overlay one on top of the other and see the effects that they can have? So you can play around with this idea, but this parameter card already removes all of that decision taking about which colors to use in which order, because this is a parameter, so that's a great way also to get warmed up, like I said. And I think there's a fourth scenario, maybe. Let me check. Yes. The fourth scenario is to pull 1 color meditation card and 2 parameter cards, some of which even offer you options. So let's say, let me take maybe a blue one now. So 1 is played. So that's the color meditation card. And then if I take 2 parameter cards, limited palette, scale, and organization. So let's see. Limited palette is 2, 3, or 4 hues. Scale and organization. So an exploration of size and or spacing. You see? So the 3 examples showed just a few ways to play with scale and organization. The first one offers orderly and even rows with shapes all the same size. This one here. And next cluster of tiny shapes surrounded by lots of white space. And the third is a mixture of sizes and orientations, completely filling the space. Yeah, so like I said, you can play around. This is very organized and kind of similar. This is more spread out. This has different sizes. She also said something I mentioned before about the brush. You can consider changing the size of the brush, which of course will alter the scale and the way you paint. So in this case, you would do a plate pattern with a limited palette, which is not hard because, as you can see here, there's only maybe 1, 2, 3 colors. And then you play with a scale and organization. So here, for example, you see there are different sizes of stripes. That's a way already of playing with scale and organization. But I mean, there's a huge amount of combinations you can have with these cards. You can just take them like this without thinking too much. You can choose what you like. I think that personally I like to just open the box and pull something like this without thinking too much about it and just go for it. Another thing that I like to use this deck for is to make use of failed paintings. I'm gonna share some with you here. So I have this little sample box of Bao Hong Academy watercolor paper I got a while ago, and I had some paintings that I started, or maybe I even finished, and I was not very happy with. And I decided to start using the back of the paintings for these exercises, because I think that also when you use the back of a failed experiment or a failed painting, it kind of liberates you in a while, that in a sense that it's not that precious, pristine, super expensive paper that scares you to ruin it. So sometimes I find myself using the back of failed paintings, and then the painting looks great. I think it removes a bit of that anxiety. So I'm gonna show you here. I had started something I didn't like. This was the first one I did with one of the cards from the deck. I don't remember the name of the card, but was something about diamonds. And then another thing that I like to use also this deck of cards for is sometimes, like I'm gonna show you now my messy palette. This is I bought an introductory set of watercolors from My Merry Blue, and I was doing color mixing tests to see all the colors I could get from that kit. So I'm left with all of this in my palette, and sometimes I don't know what to use that for, like, or I make a painting and I have some leftover paint on the palette. So I think this is a great way also to make use of that. So if you don't have a card like telling you which type of color scheme you have to use, and you can just choose. Sometimes I will just take the colors that are already there on the palette. So I'm using the leftover colors. I'm using the paper that was left over from a failed experiment, and that kind of liberates me even more to just focus on the materials, the brush, the painting, the paper, how all of this behaves. And sometimes you can get some, how can I say, some insights. Maybe sometime you are doing this exercise, you are not having any particular objective in mind. It's just a meditation exercise, like the name says. And you can find that maybe you like some color combination that you haven't tried before, or a texture, or I don't know, a shape. So I think it's a good way to kind of paint for the sake of painting, without any objective in mind, without this anxiety that we have that everything has to be finished and perfect and ready to go on Instagram or whatnot. So I really like these exercises. So here is another one that I did. I don't remember this one what it was, but yes, I painted this one only using flat brushes. That is a brush I don't use a lot in watercolor, but I really enjoy when I do. So see, another failed painting that I use this exercise for, just some flat stripes, overlaying and everything in warm colors. And then there's this one. It was a half circle one, monochromatic, another failed painting. So you can do a lot of stuff. You can also use stripes of paper, and then after you're done you can cut them and make them into bookmarks or something. I think it's a very nice thing to have if you are into watercolors. And yeah, I'm gonna put here a little demo video where I take 2 color meditation cards and I paint another one of these little samples from Bao Hong. Like I said, this is not an exercise of a finished painting or illustration. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be, you know, it doesn't have any objective per se apart from you playing around with your paints, your brushes, and then just letting yourself free to create whatever comes to mind. So you're gonna see in the video, I'm gonna create this little piece. I don't know if I have it here. Here it is. So you're gonna see me creating this little piece with 2 prompt cards in the video. Like I said, it's not perfect, it's not wow, it's just an exercise. It's just a way to get you going. So I really hope that you like it. If you do, please remember liking this video, sharing the content, subscribing if you haven't done so already, and I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna leave the links below in the description if you're interested in getting this deck of cards as well, and I hope to see you soon. I had just finished filming the video, and then I noticed that I didn't show you all of the cards that come in the deck, and I thought maybe you would like to see a bit more of what type of prompts that you get with the deck. So I'm gonna show you quickly. So we have here the parameters, so we have rainbow order, saturation play, warm versus cool, tints and shades, color schemes, palette order, the one I had showed you before, limited palette, scale and organization, rainbow order, and that's it. These are the parameter cards. Now, because the rainbow cards are many, I'm just gonna show you here the front of the card, so you have an idea of what type of shapes and prompts that you get. So I see that there's a mix of abstract and a bit more figurative things. Have lots of lovely ideas. This reminds me a bit of Mondrian, grit, splashes, balloons, chain. This I think is the rainbow one. These ribbons, streamers, half moons. So there's a wide array of options here. Paint over, using negative painting with white bunting, moons, use these dots, that's a fun one, triangles. This is the one I use for this. They have circles. Ah, here it is. Now the other one I made, I mentioned to you, the diamond. Coil. Squiggle. Or this looks like interlocking shapes. Color wheels. Maze. So you see that there's really a lot wetting to wet, a lot you can do with this deck. You can use it every day and keep finding new things because there are so many different combinations you can create. Overlapping, arrows, splatter. This is the one I showed you before. This I think is negative. Yeah, inside versus outside. Fast versus slow. That's an interesting one also. And I think now I arrived. Yeah, I think now I've showed you all of them. So yeah, it's a very fun aid to help you in your creative journey and to help you unlock your potential with your materials and get you all warmed up and full of ideas. And I hope you liked the video. Please keep following me. I will have a lot of new content in the upcoming weeks. Some new things arriving that I'm excited to share with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye! Thank you.